Nuclear power plants generate power by heating water until it becomes steam. Steam is gas which expands and creates pressure. Pressure pushes the steam through pipes into a turbine, which turns a generator that produces electrical power. The benefits of nuclear power are they're used to generate heat, clean way to produce energy because it does not result in the emission of poisonous gases. Disposal of nuclear waste is easy. Waste decays over time and has no negative impact on the ecosystem. Nuclear power is much more efficient. Nuclear reactor in the power plant can produce energy for up to 40 years. Nuclear waste is dangerous and highly radioactive. There is a risk of storing and managing the waste in a safe manner. High cost to build nuclear facilities and keep them running. Risk of nuclear power come from radiation, which can cause cancer because they damage biological cells, which can be found in all living creatures, including humans. A meltdown occurs when the coolant used to cool the fuel rods are lost. This causes the melting of the reactor core. If not cooled down in time, the molten core of the reactor will melt through the containment vessel holding the core. This is the worst case scenario. Highly radioactive materials will spread throughout the soil, the water, and the air. The worst case of a meltdown recorded occurred at Chernobyl.
Fukushima and other Japanese power plants are designed by the company GE, and all are made to the standards of a typical nuclear power plant using cooling towers. Other than the basic design of the power plants, there were some modifications added to Fukushima. One modification is known as the quencher, which distributes the steam bubbles in order to produce a more rapid condensation, and as a result, reduces pressure. As the 9.0 magnitude earthquake struck Japan, the Fukushima power plant automatically shut down. Since the electrical system was not working, backup generators were put into effect. These generators eventually failed, and the cooling system was not operating. Thus, there was nothing cooling down the reactor core. There was then a nuclear explosion due to the extreme temperatures of the fuel rods in the nuclear core. In the beginning, there was a 20-mile evacuation zone for those who lived near the power plant. The Japanese people were advised to stay indoors in order to avoid contamination. As of now, the danger level in Japan is at a level 7, the same level as that of Chernobyl disaster in 1986. For Hawaii, there is no present danger due to the nuclear crisis in Japan. Air samples taken from Hawaii reveal that the radiation levels are normal. However, the same population is nervous, and as a result, many stores have run out of potassium iodide, which is known to reduce radiation poisoning. For the west coast of the United States, there is no real threat of high levels of radiation. President Obama addressed this in his speech, saying that he assures there is no danger to those on the west coast, Hawaii, Alaska, or any other U.S. territories in the Pacific Ocean. The radioactive particles in the air will decay based on their half-lives. Particles such as iodine-131 have a half-life of 8 days, meaning they will decay rather quickly and pose no threat. However, there are more radioactive particles such as strontium-90 that have a half-life of more than 30 years, meaning they will pose a greater threat over time. The dangers of these particles are uncertain at the moment. Japan, the US, and France are the major countries utilizing nuclear power, and each nation has a different level of dependence on that nuclear power. For Japan, 37% of their electricity comes from nuclear power, the rest from other sources such as fossil fuels and other materials. For the United States, around 20% of our electricity comes from nuclear power. France, by far, has the greatest amount of electricity produced by nuclear power. More than 75% of France's power comes from nuclear reactions.